everyone. Welcome back to my kitchen. It's so good to have you back with me. Last week you got to see a recipe made from my childhood in the area that I'm from and I grew up with, a tradition that we had. But today I'd like to bring you in to learn a recipe from my husband's traditions, from his family and where he grew up. My husband Bill and I love to cook in the kitchen together. In fact, it's one of our favorite things to do. And today he's going to teach you and I one of his family's most treasured recipes that has been passed down generation after generation, and it is the core of all recipes. So with that, I'd like to welcome Bill into our kitchen, but into your home.
Hello everyone, I brought you something.
Oh, thank you. I love it.
It's a little bit of pork and we can get down to that, but Destiny's asked me to make my special and somewhat secret family sauce, which has been passed down forever and ever. And I have to say my mother's grandmother is where I picked it up from, but we had a tradition in my family that every Sunday all of my relatives came over to Grandma's house for dinner. And unlike your family, my mother had 5 brothers and sisters. They all had kids. And when we got together, we got together. So part of this pasta sauce that we're about to make was a way of feeding that big army. And as we go down the path, I'll explain to you how it was done. In my family, and the way I feel about it, the most important ingredient is understanding the concept. And that's because everything you add to this, we don't do a quick sauce. This isn't, we're getting home from work or school and we're going to make a quick dinner. This is something that takes all day. So the concept is every flavor that you put in permeates throughout everything. And it's like a good stew. It's the same concept. So when I put in garlic, I know that's going to carry. And when we do a meat-based, mostly a meat-based sauce. So the kinds of meat that I choose will be based on where I think what we're putting it on and that kind of thing. So maybe we should get started and look at the ingredients.
That would be great. Come with us and let's learn.
Okay, to get started, this is a meat-based sauce. Excuse me. So one of the secrets to this is, again, I told you it was a very big family.
Yeah.
So to feed a big family, you had to have a lot of food, and that would mean a lot of meat and a lot of pasta and everything. So one of the secrets is this meat would stew inside the sauce, but it would be taken out as kind of one of the entrees. So I like to choose, I'm in the mood for a good pork and sausage sauce today. So I've gotten some they're thin cut. I'll slice these up and they'll stew all day and they'll be so tender. That's the other key, is that any meat you put in will melt in your mouth. We've got 2 kinds of sausages. This is your favorite kind. It's hot Italian sausage.
Very much.
This is sweet sausage. Again, this flavor of sausage in the sauce will be so delicious. It's yummy.
And I've had it before. That sausage, when it comes out, is amazing. Amazing.
If you like to snap into your sausage when you bite it, this is not the sausage for you. It melts in your mouth. And of course, ground beef. Some people add ground veal, some ground pork to this, but because we're doing all the other meats, we just have some ground beef. So one of the good things so I come from New Jersey.
Yes. What town was it?
I lived in a little small town. It was 1 square mile, just like yours. Only it was kind of packed in a little bit.
Nothing around my town.
So the town is Woodridge, New Jersey. It's right by Hackensack. More importantly, we were 15 minutes from Manhattan on the other side of the river without traffic. So one of the good things about New Jersey is we had great vegetables. We could get really good tomatoes, great onions that grew. So there was a lot of flavor from, I'll just go through this. We would have our own garden with fresh basil. This is a great product you found. It's semi-dried basil. It's it's alive in flavor. Of course, garlic. I've got about 4 garlic cloves diced up in here. A couple of onions. The seasonings, of course, garlic, salt, and salt and pepper. So as you're tasting it, if it needs more garlic, you can give it a kick with garlic salt. But the secret ingredient is probably the Italian herbs and spices. They come prepackaged. They've been coming this way forever. I'm sure my grandfather probably made his own, but we buy it from the store.
Your grandfather made his own wine in the basement as well, correct?
Correct. He did. He had a nice piece of land. He had his own garden. He grew his own tomatoes. All the herbs and everything were freshly grown there. It's one of the things I miss. But we make do. Of course, there's all of the red elements. So I always use a big can of sauce and 2 cans of tomato paste. Now I like a thick sauce. So the more paste, the thicker it is at the end of the day. If you want a nice thin sauce for something you're cooking, leave one out, and you can always add a little more wine or a little bit more water to thin it out.
Gotcha, makes sense.
Then the other elements are pretty whatever you have in the house kind of thing. I like to use diced tomatoes, tomato puree. I'll put 2 cans of that in. It's a nice fluid mixture. And then sometimes I put whole tomatoes in. But all Italians know the key ingredient is a little splash of wine. So
You can drink it while you cook too.
I think
That makes it really good.
well,
right?
that's a rule, I think. You
Oh,
have
okay.
to taste the wine to make sure that it's good. The other key thing is that you have a big pot. And I've got this pot here because I want to talk real quickly about it, if that's
Okay,
all right.
absolutely. Please tell us.
So you need a good cover on the pot because it's going to stew all day. But here's one of the things that my grandfather taught me years ago, is that a good pot will have a thick bottom that helps radiate the heat so that no one spot is really hot. And when you're going to stew something all day, whether it's your beef stew or even if you're making cabbage soup, whatever it is, you want something that radiates the heat.
So it's all cooking at the same rate. You're not cooking one part more and
Right.
burning the bottom like I often do.
Right.
Let's be honest.
And that's
We do a
kind
lot.
of key. The other thing about this is a little bit of a high maintenance thing where you get the beginning going and you walk away, but you don't walk away too long.
Yeah.
Like I try and come back every 30 minutes, 15 minutes maybe in the beginning, just to keep it stirring and make sure it's cooking. So I think we've talked enough. Should we start making the house smell really good?
Oh yes, my favorite. So I usually, when he makes the sauce, just sit back and watch. But today I'm gonna learn how. But I just want to make it clear that that does not mean that I'm going to be making it in the future. It's still eat right. All right, come with us and let's start learning. I'm going to get our aprons on and pull my hair back and we'll get going.
So you already know this trick. So what are we doing with the sausage?
All right, so we're going to put it in the pan covered in water and let the water boil off the sausage. Correct?
Yes, we're gonna cook this sausage for about 20 minutes, maybe a little longer, which just helps get it started before we put it in the sauce. So cover it with just plain water, just so it covers the meat. It's back down in here. Okay. So I just go ahead and use about a medium heat on that.
All right.
Okay, as that sausage is up and
It's
boiling.
browning, it's boiling.
So I've already peeled the onions, and I thought, you want me to show them my secret?
Yes.
I'm sure it's not a secret. I'm sure a lot of people do it. But I was taught years ago to easily dice an onion, to go ahead and make slices in it all across the top, about the size that you want the dice. And turn it 90 degrees and do it again. I like to just chop the bottom off so that it's flat and turn it sideways. And now, if you slice through it, look at those.
Perfect.
Perfectly diced.
That goes a lot quicker than when I'm doing it. I make him dice everything before I cook. He's like my
Even
kitchen.
for the show.
That's correct. It takes me forever, and he's so good at it. So I'm like, would you just slice these
Scoop
up real
those
quick?
up. What I do is brown everything in the big pot because we want all the flavor to stay together. So if we were to brown it in a frying pan, we lose a lot of the flavor.
Yeah.
So first thing we need is a little bit of olive oil.
Okay.
Put this on like medium high,
Okay.
and medium high.
Okay.
And then I'm just gonna drizzle some, probably about 2 tablespoons of oil
Okay.
down into the pot and let that heat up. As it's heating up, we'll add the garlic, so the garlic starts to heat with it.
Okay.
So we said this about 4, maybe 5 cloves of garlic, and
Very good.
once it starts to sizzle, so we're also flavoring the olive oil with the garlic. Everything we put in
Very nice.
adds
And
flavor.
the onion goes next.
Onion will be next.
Okay.
So you can actually start stirring that up a little bit.
What's that?
And then why don't we go ahead and add the onions.
Okay.
So we want to cook the onions till they're kind of translucent. Is that the right word, chef?
Yeah. I'm not a
Transparent,
chef.
translucent.
Oh, so far from a chef. I
Well,
think
you can
everyone's
hear it.
got
Now
that.
you can hear it. This is awesome.
Oh, yeah. And that sizzle? Coat it.
All right, so once that becomes translucent, then we'll go ahead and start adding chopped meat and some other meats.
All right. Beautiful. Okay.
So that's about a pound of chopped meat.
Yes.
We use lean. You don't have to use lean, whatever kind of chopped meat you want to use. But you go ahead and add it to the onion
Okay.
and start browning it, stirring it around.
Oh, this smells so good already. It's just beginning.
So when I was a little boy, we'd go over to my grandmother's house first thing in the morning, and we'd walk in and this is what we would smell. And that started our Sundays off with just a wonderful aroma, and always put me in a good mood.
Don't the smells bring you back to your childhood too? I mean,
Absolutely.
we've been making this for the show, a lot of recipes from as a kid, and the smell brings me right back to being a kid again and all of the holidays and good times that we had. So it's one of the beautiful things about cooking and sharing recipes is there's so many memories that are truly connected to food. The smell, the taste, all of it.
All right, so what I like to do, if I could jump in here for a minute.
Please.
As this is browning, I like to kind of take it out of the center like that.
Okay.
This is a secret you've never seen
I was gonna
before.
say, this is new. This is magic.
So what I want to do really is sear this pork.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that.
I try and get it right in the middle there. Pan's nice and hot. So I don't want to cook it through, I just want to sear it.
Got it.
And now, after you get it seared a little bit in the center, you wait, let it sear.
Smell.
Now stir it up a little bit more. You're just trying to get it, you see it's turning white.
Yes.
You want to get that happening. I mean, the good thing is that over the hours it will cook, but if you sear it, some of those juices stay in the meat, so when you bite into it, you get that real nice pork flavor.
Gotcha.
All right, I'm gonna start to blend it in with the beef. And I think, just to show you, you're not the only messy cook, I just shot a piece of beef out of this pot.
That took talent because that's the tall pot.
Yeah.
Not as talented as I am with the messes, but a little bit of talent.
Okay, we're gonna let that go a little bit, and then we'll add some wine.
Okay.
Once we feel like the meat is kind of brown to a good point, we'll then pour some wine in for that flavor. But we got a few minutes, so I think I'll go get a glass of wine, and we'll be right back.
There you go.
Okay, so this is looking really good and smelling really good.
Yeah, it
So
is.
now it's time to season.
Okay.
So I do this to taste. So if we have to do a recipe, you guys are in trouble. But the thing you have to remember is this is a big vat of food.
Yeah.
So where you think you might lightly salt this normally, you want to salt and pepper it a little bit more than you would. But don't overdo it because we taste along the way. So now comes the special ingredient, which is
Italian.
the Italian seasoning. So this is a mix of, parsleys and
You have to tell me when.
don't be shy.
Don't shake it so hard, I'm afraid it's gonna pop open the top and the whole thing's gonna go flying. Because that would not be a rare incident.
All right, that looks good.
Okay.
Oh, you can smell it.
Yeah,
Smell
you
like
can.
there's a nice mix of oregano and
Rosemary. You definitely smell the rosemary.
all right, so here comes a choice. You have a choice to make. I love basil. I love the taste of basil.
Oh, me
It's
too.
slightly sweet. So remember what I told you before, the longer something's in, the more that flavor comes out.
Yeah.
So I'll put some basil usually in when I brown my meat
Yes.
so that basil flavor culminates a little bit longer.
Okay.
So
Over here, I'll be right back. Grab it.
somehow I lost the basil. There you go.
Face it back. Alright.
I would just take a couple pinches and sprinkle it around. One more and that would be good for now. We may add some later.
Oof, that smells so good. Alright.
Okay. Oh, that does smell good. So I think the next thing that we do, we've got this all cooking and now it's time to blanch it with the wine.
Okay.
So don't be afraid if you have kids in the house because as you know the alcohol gets cooked off. And don't be afraid if you have kids in the house
To have a glass.
to have a glass of wine, especially during quarantine. So I've got a cup here. And that will just keep stirring it, letting the flavor envelop us. And then the next thing we're going to do is add all the tomatoes and canned tomato goods. So why don't we get those open and we'll be back to put them in.
Alright, let's do it.
Oh, okay. If you remember in the beginning, I said this was kind of a secret family recipe, and Destiny's left the room. So I'm going to show you two quick secret things that I do. One of the things is I like to take the sausage. At this point, it's ready to go in the sauce, but I cut it into smaller pieces so there's more flavor oozing into the sauce. She thinks I cut it after to make it bite-sized. Not the case. The other secret that I like to do is kind of the same principle, but here we have our whole tomatoes. Well, I don't know if she's ever realized it, but she doesn't really ever chew into a whole tomato because I come through with the knife and I make them smaller. I don't think Lexi likes that I'm telling secrets without Mama here. And that two of my trade secrets. Shh, don't tell her. So this is browned really nicely. It's smelling delicious. It's time to add the sauces.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter what order. I usually put the paste in last.
Okay.
So go ahead. We've got that's 1 can of tomato sauce. And what else you got?
I got diced tomatoes.
Ooh, yeah, yummy, nice diced tomatoes. Look how it splashes up all over us. It's great.
And then I have tomato puree.
Perfect.
1 can. I think the next one's tomato puree as well, I believe. Yes. Okay. And then, interesting, I thought we got whole tomatoes. I guess they're chopped.
Huh. Send them back. All right. Put the paste in. Nice and thick.
That paste is used in so many recipes, at least that I do. I always have to have some of it.
Typically, if we weren't filming this, I would put this up at 8 o'clock in the morning and we wouldn't eat it till 6 o'clock at night. And you know, if you do find yourself in a situation where you've got to get it done quicker, you can use this recipe and add a half a cup to a cup of sugar. It just takes some of the acidity out. It gives a little bit of a sweeter taste. That will naturally occur if you stew it all day long. Great.
All right.
So now, the only thing left to do is take one of these, a bay leaf. Don't really understand how this works, but Grandma always did it, Mama always did it, and actually with this size pot, I'm going to do too. There's something about the flavor of the bay leaf that does something magical to this sauce. All right, so now really the last thing to do is turn it down to a very low simmer. I like my sauce really thick, so if you want me to cover it, I'll take my wooden spoon and I'll lay it here and I'll leave a gap for the first many hours so it doesn't condensate. Condensation will keep it thin, where getting rid of that extra moisture will thicken it up. So when it gets to a point where this is how I'd like it, I'll cover it and let it go ahead and do its thing.
Beautiful. Oh, can't wait. Cannot wait.
There you go. That's really the magic.
Cheers. There's a little bit of wine left.
Cheers.
Cheers. Let's wait.
Okay, she's gone. She forgot all about the sausage, so she'll never know the secret.
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm just putting the sausage in. That's all.
Oh, I was just gonna see if you wanted a glass of wine. Why you look guilty?
I don't know.
Hi guys, I'm gonna check on it. Oh my goodness. This smells so good. Oh, it's been about 3 or 4 hours. We have about 2 hours to go. I cannot wait. Oh, so yummy. Hi guys. So it's getting very, very close to time. And I am so excited because this sauce, I cannot tell you how amazing it is. I'm not saying that I married him for his sauce, but I definitely did not marry him because he makes good sauce. That's all I'm saying. No, it's so good and I can't wait to have it. You can eat this over anything. I mean, you can eat it over pasta. Tonight we're having it over ravioli, any sort of pasta. It's delicious on. I've even had it over bread and it's delicious just that way. So we're just counting down the minutes. And
you know what? It's even good by itself. Would you like to try some?
Yes. Is it ready?
It's close.
Oh.
Now I've gone back, stirred it, and put salt and pepper and made it happy for me.
It's heaven. It's pure heaven. Oh man, I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I do. Thank you for joining us again in our kitchen. And I can't wait till the next time. In the meantime, buen appetit.